Enra, on Good Evening Ghana, the National Service former Executive Director Mustafa Yusuf and then Anabi are now Kaya no deputy from February 2017 to about September. Bro, we elected and say youth organizer for the MPP. Ewo Koforidia, and I will free the National Service. Only give to Warren start here then. I think one echo jam by wiki na me around. I was mostly out of the internet space. Someone for try me video, me saw me see me when share from me share a lot of it and all that. And as I said, that was the fact as presented by the 4 first states. And on Good Evening Ghana, the National Service Scheme, no, and so I responded to the allegations by the 4 first states, Suleiman Abrahama, Manas Azuri, and I think that it's only fair. Say my mama T almost side of it. A high critical analysis and subscribe, mommy. Na ye more Ghana and comment. Me I'll conclude for you.
So the National Service matter. So we had the scandal from Suleiman Brahma, yeah, and he was on TV3 and he explained. We need to go to that interview now, viewers. Sponsors will kill me, but I have to go to the interview. So the interview was recorded much earlier, and I put the questions to Mustafa and Nana Boache. Here's the interview. So that's an interesting part. But we would like to begin the conversation with our 2 important people. The former Minister for Sports, who is the acting director, and the national organizer of the New Patriotic Party, the Big Nanabi. Gentlemen, good evening. Scandal. So let's start with the beginning. How do you generate the PIN, the so-called 100,000 PIN, 91,000 PIN, that then becomes 88,000? How does it work?
So Paul, so first of all, let me say thank you for these opportunities to at least bring some clarity to the major issue that is trending currently, and also to thank your viewers for listening to us and for viewing us. National Service, I just want to give you some background, and I know you did some background. In 2015, there was a scandal, and that scandal brought in Dr. Kwesa White, who was the then chief presidential staffer at the presidency, was reassigned to National Service to be the acting executive director. When he came in, he put in certain steps. The first steps he put in, because before Kwesa White, the payment of National Service personnel's allowance was done on table. Okay, it was done on table. So when Kwesa White came, then he decided that let's now pay National Service personnel by eSwitch. And eSwitch is Bank of Ghana, GIPS. GIPS is Bank of Ghana subsidiary agency. So they will pay, and the eSwitch is biometrically a card that you use to do. You have to take your biometric data for you to have the eSwitch card, so that you'll be able to access money that is put on your card. Then in 2017. We were invited by His Excellency, the President of the Republic, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, to serve the good people of this country as the acting executive director and my 2 deputies. And when we came in, by then we came in February, because I got my appointment in February. But the National Service year starts from September to August. So I came in February. So the 2016-2017 service year have already begun.
Yes.
So my first posting was...
That's where Suleiman Brahma said there was no problem.
Yes, that is not, he didn't even, that wasn't what he said, it wasn't a problem. The next one.
The next one, yes.
The next one. So the 2016-2017, I didn't do the postings. I just came and met it. So the next one that I did was the 2017-2018. 2017-2018, which he said there is no problem with that. So I won't even go there.
Fair enough.
But let me give you the background.
2018-2019
is the issue. But before I go to the issue, I want to take the public and your viewers and the Ghanaian public to the processes that we go through in deployment of our National Service personnel. First of all, when the time is due for National Service deployment, we have our institutions. And when we have the general institutions, that are the universities, both public and private, we also have the nursing training colleges, we have the teachers training colleges. So the general posting is the universities and the polytechnics. So we write to them that they should bring us their final year class list, so that we'll be able to process them for National Service. So once all these institutions, and before I go, we have 3 cycles of National Service, as you said. We have the general National Service, we have the Teachers National Service, and we have the Nurses National Service. So when we come to the General National Service, their period is different. It starts from September to August. Then the nurses start from somewhere April. The first cohort is April, and the second cohort is also September. The teachers, normally we deploy them in December. Then they will start in the new year. So these are the period that we do the deployments. Then once the data is submitted by the general, for example, in 2017, my first posting will start, normally we'll start earlier before the September. So we'll ask the institutions to bring the data. When the data come, we then process them. But because in 2016, 2017, we observed national service and there were issue of, and because His Excellency also before he appointed us, and because of the previous experience, he gave us a marching order, especially me, because the President himself signed my appointment letter, and he gave me a marching order to ensure that we bring sanity to national service as far as ghost name is concerned. So I was much concerned. So when they bring it, we generate PIN numbers for them. And those days, the PIN numbers.
When they bring the list.
When they bring the list.
University of Ghana brings 10,000.
Yes.
Then you generate PIN numbers for the 10,000.
10,000. They will come.
By their names, index numbers.
It will come with their index numbers and their names. But we use the index numbers to generate the PIN number for them. We'll use the.
So that every PIN number should be unique.
Yes, to the person. But our first deployment, when we did our first deployment in 2017 to 2018, which Suleiman Ibrahim of Fourth Estate said there was no issue, we detected a lot of problems. And the problems we detected included impersonations, and some people, for example, Paul, if you have completed teacher training college and you are posted to Tamale to go and teach, and maybe you had a diploma from teacher training college, or you had teacher certificate from teacher training college, and you're teaching in Tamale, you're already a permanent teacher. So when you get the opportunity to further your studies at a university, for example, University of Ghana, and you finish your university and you are going to, you are supposed to, we ask the university to submit their class list to us. They will include your name into the class list. But because you're a teacher, you will go straight to your teaching, because you were posted as a servant, somebody who is already on government payroll. So you go back to your teachings, your study leaves, you go back to the schools that you are teaching. So you might not be interested. Those days, the teachers were not interested in doing national service. But we realized that in our first posting in 2017 to 2018, people were impersonating
the teachers.
The teachers.
Okay.
The teachers, they were impersonating.
So how did you deal with that?
Because we realized there was investigation. Manasseh Azure did the investigation, and we called it even national security.
So Manasseh is also Fourth Estate.
Yes. At that time, he did the investigation. He even visited my office at that time. Then
you spoke to him?
Yeah, I spoke to him, and I took him through all the process. Then I took him through all the process. Then in 2017-2018, when we did all this, we identified this impersonation. We called on national security and the BNI. Then the BNI, it was BNI, National Investigative Bureau, NIB, to assist us to come out with a very solid platform, so that we'll be able to deploy this national service without a program. So our next posting was 2018-2019.
That's where the problem is.
And that's where Suleiman Ibrahim have detected this problem. In 2018-2019, on 4th May 2018, we issued a press release asking all prospective national service that their PIN numbers have been generated. And this was 100,209 PIN numbers that we generated from all the institutions. Out of that, 85,708 were deployed. As at the time of deployment, those who have gone through the registration, because when I was telling you that when we generate the PIN numbers for them, they have to go through the registration process. And because we detected this duplication, we put in some system, a new national service deployment system. And in that deployment system that we put, number one, we put in the central database system. We linked it with our website. And because we linked it to our website, the central base system contained the national ID, the passport of everybody who has passports. ID is on the central database. We also have the driver's license. Those who have driver's license too is on the central database. Those who have SNIT card, it was also on the central database. So we then decided that, okay, if we have this data, that we can use it to link up with our national service system. It is easier for us to be able to detect those who are impersonating. Why? Because once you come to register, we have generated a PIN number for you with your index number and your name. Then you come and register. First of all, we'll ask you to put in your index number. Once you put in your index number, you have registered, we'll ask you for your national ID number. And that is the time we introduce the national ID number. And then on this communication, we spell out all the details that you need to make sure that you're able to go through the registration. So the system will pull your ID for admiralty with your passport picture, your passport with the bio page where your picture is, so that to ask you, can you confirm your details? Then once you confirm, then you go through the registration process. Then you complete your registration.
So you mean if I'm going to register as a national service person and I have a passport, since you introduced this central database, once my name is there, the passport will come up.
Yes.
For me to confirm.
Confirm. And if you don't have passport and you have
any other card that is
it will pop up.
Okay. All right.
Then what we also detected during that process, people, when you have, as part of the registration process, even when you have your ID has popped up and you have indicated that it is you, Paul Adomocheri, then we'll say, okay, upload your photograph so that we can match the photo on the ID vis-a-vis the photo on the photo that you uploaded.
Do all these things. If you do all these things, then or are you suggesting that it's because of these checks that you had the 100,000 to 85?
Yes.
So that 15,000.
Yes. So that 15,000.
They didn't survive the test.
The test. Most of them did not survive the test.
I get it.
Most of them. So we deployed them. At the time of.
But Suleiman Brahma seems to say that is normal.
So
he said there was 90 something,
yes,
8 something. That's quite normal.
But he was missing out because he was using the deployed list as the eligible list. The eligible list are the class list that the university have submitted to us. Mm-hmm. Then once we generate the PIN, they become eligible. Mm-hmm. But those who want to travel, but then if you are in the university, if I'm in the university and I want to travel to do my master's, and even the University of Ghana submits my name, I'll be interested to go and do the registration. I'll go. So those who go through the registration, they are the only people we deploy.
So you have the 100, then you have the 90, which he saw, which Suleiman Brahma talks about.
85,000, which he talked about.
No, 85 is the final one, but he talked about the 90 something and says that the discrepancy between that and 85 is fine. But you are saying you actually started from 100 to come to 90. And you want us to believe that it is because of the central database system that people couldn't survive. Okay, fair enough.
Okay, then in 2018, after we have done this, somewhere in November, government took a decision. And the decision was that as at that time, teacher trainees were not going through national service. It was only nurses and the general national service personnel, and that is the university and the polytechnics and nurses. And the nurses had 2 cohorts or 2 badges. Then the government took a decision that all teacher training graduates should go through a licential exams and pass. Then before government will then get clearance from Ministry of Finance for them to be able to do what? To be employed. But once they are doing their licential exams, they should take advantage to do their national service because it will become a requirement for them to be able to be employed. Then national service, at that time there was even agitation from the teacher training association. So the minister then invited, that was the letter that you have. The minister invited the leadership, invited national service management, and invited teachers council for us to meet and let them know the reason why they should do national service. And we were successful. So they accepted. And they even after that came to my office, we met, and they issued a press release. We also issued a press release, and it's in public. After that, then we deployed our first cohort of teachers, which was in November that we deployed that. And we made it public.
You told the general public, the
one you read.
How many people were there, do you know?
There were about 16,000.
16,000, okay.
Yes.
So I have the first teachers.
So the first teachers postings was about 16,000.
Okay.
16,000 that we posted. Then once we posted them, but when Suleiman Ibrahim did, he only took. So at the end of the service year, national service year 2018-2019, we are supposed to go to Parliament.
Yes.
And normally when you are going to Parliament, you have to then take the summation of those who did the national service general posting, and that is the universities and the polytechnics, those who did the teacher training college postings, the first cohort, and the nurses training college, the 2 cohorts. the summation is what you take
To Parliament.
Parliament. Parliament will obviously ask. That's why did you release postings for general national service personnel, and they are 85,000, and you are bringing 100 and something thousand.
Absolutely.
Obviously they will ask.
Yeah.
Obviously they will ask. So that is where the challenge Fourth Estate had, because these things are in public domain.
So they looked at it as a scandal. That's how they saw it.
They saw
it's
it.
a scandal.
They
And
saw it.
Told Ghanaians as a
they,
scandal.
They saw it as a scandal, but it wasn't any scandal because maybe they failed to do further investigation.
To see that there are two cohorts of
cohorts. There are
nurses
three-
and one teacher.
teachers.
So there are three groups of people
Yes.
who have been added to the regular national
Yes,
service.
yes.
And you reported that to Parliament.
Yes.
You gave Parliament the documents.
We gave to Parliament.
So Parliament is not worried.
Yes, and then let me tell you, Paul, there's another thing that my experience, even when you have generated the PINs, the PIN numbers for the national service personnel, and they have gone through the registration process, and it is time for you to do release those who are successful and validated, gone through all the processes of validation and validated, and you are posting them. There are majority who are still on the system pending.
Or you have a column for them pending.
Yes, pending column.
Why are they pending?
They are pending because they've not been able to satisfy the requirement, the controls that we are putting on the system.
No, I was coming to the index number, the duplication of index numbers, wrong index numbers. Suleiman Brahma shows index numbers of Winneba Education University. And he says that the index numbers follow a certain pattern. He showed other institutions. And all those index numbers were found in the National Service document.
So that is
He's
why
suggesting to us that these are the basis for the ghost names, I think.
Yeah, so what Suleimana Ibrahim did not tell the public is that we have the system have an entry point and exit point. And then the exit point is at the time of receiving your allowance from gifts.
First allowance.
Your first allowance. You need to go through the registration process. You need to be verified through all the verification process. Then you have to then go, and after you have been posted, you have to then go to verification, biometric verification at the various regional centers first. Then once you are accepted and you are posted to your user agency then will validate you monthly to confirm that you are post. Then they submit a report to you before you get paid.
So what's the point you're making?
So I'm making a point that the figures Suleimana Ibrahim, the data that he got, are people who might have tried to enter the system, but they were not successful at the exit point of receiving allowances.
Okay, so you are saying that we should ask Suleiman Brahma and the Fourth Estate that these names that they put out, the index numbers, duplication of names, did they check whether they received the first allowance?
That is another thing.
That's the critical point.
That is what I'm
It's at that point that we have a scandal.
A scandal.
But if they didn't receive, that means that the system's checks.
The system checks
has pulled them out.
Prevent that. Even though when you come into the system, you might see it to be in the system. But which category of the system are they? Are they on pending? Are they on hold? Are they successful? Or
So if they are successful, then it's a problem.
Yeah, if they are successful,
So
then
your call on the Fourth Estate is that give us
received,
one of those names
Yes.
that you can trace to show that they received
and
the
also
allowance.
even it will be difficult because it's not possible for one person to have the same ID. How are you going to acquire your e-switch card?
What is e-switch? Why do you
The
need it?
e-switch card is a biometric verified payment system that we use in paying the national service personnel.
So I cannot acquire the e-switch card if I'm using the name Kwekwe Japan.
You can acquire it, but it is only unique to you.
So after I have used it, nobody can use it.
After you have used it, nobody can use it.
And after I have used it, I cannot use Kojo Upon.
To go and do because the verification will get you. You'll be eliminated. Even though you might try, but you will not be successful.
So you think all these
And
20,
there
you think
are-
for the 2018 that we are talking about is really much ado
So
about it?
even at gifts, Bank of Ghana, there are times that we will submit lists to them, and they will tell us that this particular service personnel have already done their national service before.
Oh wow.
Yes, and they will send us those data.
And it's part of the verification
process.
So
Even
what do you do to those people?
those people will then they will block them from the system from being received.
But why don't you go further to arrest them and prosecute?
Oh, because we don't have the capacity. Normally, we will report them to the security agencies to deal with them.
Let me come to Nanabi.
Thank you very much, Paul. Paul, what Fourth Estate did was just to play some sensational games. They did a shoddy work. I would never call this investigation. Why do I say so? Look, they showed a video of Mustafa Yusuf, myself. Look, I was never interviewed. as to my role, because I was there from 2017 February to September 2018 when I left, because I was elected as national youth organizer then. Now, what can amount to a scandal? Because you are saying that these are ghost names, and then they go ahead to do a certain calculation, and then they put up a figure, 2.2 billion.
Of the scandal.
Meanwhile, you did not tell us that you have actually approached Gibbs.
Which is
confirm
to
whether
confirm whether they have paid.
Because we are talking about payment.
Yeah, they must have made
All that you
of the
did,
2 billion
yes,
gone.
I listened to him and you've watched it. All that he did was to pick the publication
of
we
the
usually
general-
make, the number, the figure,
The
the general postage.
Yes, the 85.
And he mentioned
and
it.
compare with Parliament.
Yes.
He mentioned.
And then-
he said that he himself said that they picked the numbers from the publication
we-
that we issued.
Mhm, Yes, he said so.
Number one, and then he said, and the figure two from the Parliamentary Select Committee
And he identified the
yes,
discrepancy.
of education, and then he just used that.
I don't know why. Do they
Very
suggest that
poor work.
nobody else will see that as a discrepancy? No MP will see it.
Very
no
poor
nobody
work.
will
And you
see
see-
it.
What is so
And
surprising?
it's been all over.
What is
Very
surprising?
poor work.
I'll come back to
What is
surprises.
even surprising is that after they've done all this investigation, and it is revealing that even during my tenure, there are issues that they've identified. I was a public figure. I was a minister for youth and sports.
Yes.
I was a member of parliament.
They never contacted him.
At least you could have written to me. For festive, have been writing letters to the Ministry of Youth and Sports, and we respond. So they could have written to us, and for me to respond to some of the things they've seen during my time
At National Service, yeah, they could have.
But in his reportage, he created the impression that at least they contacted us and we didn't respond.
Yeah, I heard him say that. Maybe he called you and he didn't get you during the
but
campaign.
that-
The heat of the campaign.
He never called. He could have sent a
So
text
you are
message.
concerned about the work that has
That
been
is
done.
it. The work is a very shoddy work. I will not call this. In fact, that is the more reason why Mr. Daniel Domlevo, who is a member of the oral team, said that a lot of the papers presented to them would need serious auditing.
He said there are rumors
Exactly.
and that they will need to be confirmed.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right? Because national service, the way and manner we conduct our business is quite unique. So you need to do proper investigation. Number one, Mustafa mentioned that at the entry point, anytime we invite students, prospective service personnel,
And people will tell
we are invaded by fraudsters, the system. So at the entry point, you will see all manner of information. All. In fact, that is where somebody will even input the name of that Kenyan or the face of that Kenyan. He said it. Because at that point, they can pick anything. Because
So they are
want
trying their luck.
They are trying their luck.
So if they get in, what happens? They get salary.
No,
If they're able to succeed.
no, you cannot succeed because
Oh, you cannot
by the
succeed.
time you get to the exit
It's
point,
foolproof.
yes, by the time you get to the exit point, you would have gone to the region, you would have done your biometric verification, and the system would have pulled you out. So what the Fourth Estate did was only to secure information at the entry point.
That's what you think.
That is it.
Gibbs is the one who pays.
Because the only way you
So
can
they should
tell
be
us
asking
that.
Gibbs that how much money
In
do you
all
pay
the-
for
So
national
now,
service?
do
all
you
their
know something?
investigation.
They mentioned somebody called Daniel Muchu. What if they are really doing proper investigation? They should have gone to Gibbs and said that did Daniel Muchu receive payment?
Yes, that's very important.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because that is how the system runs. And that is how it is. A lot of people from time immemorial, you have a lot of people invading the system. Why? Because
There's opportunity.
there's it, opportunity. So you need to always consider the entry point and then the exit point. So when you use information at the entry point and then you label it as a scandal and you put a certain spin, sensational. And at a point he was even making a categorical statement. Because you recall that when he said that, 2017, 2018, there were no problems.
There are no problems, yes.
But the fraud started in
2018, 2019.
exactly.
Yeah.
He was even making categorical statements.
But President Mahama has called for an investigation in the National Service. If there's
So
nothing in there,
ideally,
maybe you come to you, Minister.
ideally, wouldn't have even come here. Would have waited for this investigation to be done, because definitely when they do the investigation, they will find the truth. But because he, even after he has submitted the report to the oral team, he has petitioned Office of the Special Prosecutor, and also even President have issued an investigation to be done. He decided to go to TV3, and even after that, he decided to go to TV3 to do it. That's why it is important that in the court of public opinion, we bring clarity.
Okay.
Meeting Mustafa Yusuf and Nana Boache, and I feel say there are a lot of unanswered questions. For example, double identities. How were the people able to create the double identities? Why are the universities saying that the index numbers no more system, so the national service one they are inconsistent, and these are reputable institutions. University University of Education, any are there. It will be very interesting. Are they saying that there are no ghost names in the system? Is that what they are saying? I think so, and I also like the approach when it comes to the investigation. I think that there need to be a thorough investigation. I think so. There need to be a thorough investigation to unravel really what the situation is there, because independently, the amount for more national service past and prayer catch them no. And only an investigation will prevail. Understand an American. I also felt that it was unfair. Say Gifty was the only one targeted. There are about 5 microform, 2 executive directors. Honorable Mustafa you see former KM boss Honorable SB, Nana Boache, Jan, no, and I Gifty 5. So I don't know why she was targeted. Clearly because of the one on she treated my mom on Facebook well. But I feel that is not entirely accurate to single her out for that. So we all call for the investigation to happen. Our critical analysis channel. Subscribe and leave your comment section. Me bomb video so be fast so that at least we give fair hearing to everybody. Nyamisha non count. Take care. Bye.